Mr. Alonzo was born in a place called Social Circle, Georgia in 1858. He was the son of an enslaved mother and the enslaver, a white man. In Atlanta, Herndon opened his first barbershop. It went by the name of the Crystal Palace. Became renowned for its luxury catering primarily to wealthy white men. This person had the equivalent of $18 million as an ex-slave born to a black woman and the slave master. So what I want you all to understand is that you deserve to have better. You can copy this business model yourself and create a luxury environment as a barber. Welcome to episode 22 of the Income Autopilot podcast. This episode should be played in barbershops worldwide, especially those that are black-owned barbershops. The reason why they should be played is because I think that a lot of black-owned barbers do not get the credit that they should for the pillar that they are in the community. So first and foremost, I want to salute you if you are a black barber. But also, I believe that a lot of black barbers also don't make as much money as they should. And I'm already saying also way too much. So let me first qualify myself. I'm your favorite country cousin, JT. I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years. I've been on the internet talking about entrepreneurship since 2017. I've been doing entrepreneurship since 2014. Depending on when you're watching and listening to this episode, might be more than 10 years. But as of this recording, been in business 10 years for myself. Let's start from the beginning. I am not a barber, right? But let me tell you why you should listen to me even though I'm not a barber. I have made money in business. I have went broke and homeless in business. Then I have rebuilt my business past 6 figures to 7 figures. I have won an award from Mr. Russell Brunson for making $1 million in a year. I've won an award from Mr. Myron Golden for making 6 figures in a single day. 6 figures in a single day. Now, I don't do that every single day, but I have an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, an honorary doctorate degree. I have a ton of articles written about me online, from my story from homelessness to millionaire. And I know a thing or two about entrepreneurship. I thoroughly understand social media, content marketing, how to grow an audience, and then how to make money from that audience. And I also thoroughly understand being a minority because I've been one myself my entire life. What was life like in the 1850s or early 1900s? That's the first question I have for you. Now, many of us, me only being born in 1990, wasn't even born during this time frame. But if you were a minority back then, it was a lot of post-slavery struggles in the 1860s to 1870s. So emancipation after the Civil War, 1865, sharecropping and poverty, limited education. They went through the Reconstruction era, political participation, black men gained the right to vote, racial backlash, the rise of the Ku Klux Klan and other white supremacist organizations, Jim Crow era and systematic racism, segregation laws, right? Disenfranchisement. Black voters were systematically disenfranchised through polls, taxes, literacy tests, and intimidation. Economic exploitation. African Americans were largely confined to low-paying, menial jobs like farming, domestic work, and labor in the industrial sector. Few opportunities for economic mobility. In 1916 to 1930, there was the Great Migration that occurred, escape to the north, racial tensions in the city, community and cultural resilience, barbershops and black businesses, churches, education and institutions. They started to come alive back then, right? Everyday challenges, if you were a minority back then, was lynching and violence, social inferiority, lack of legal protection. The legal system often worked against African Americans, offering little recourse against racial injustice. Now, why did I start this conversation way back in the 1800s to early 1900s? Is because there was a man that was born during this time frame, and he went by the name of Mr. Alonzo. And what Mr. Alonzo was able to do is something that was incredible, not just for his day, but it was incredible, period, because many barbers have failed to recreate that as well. So if you are a barber that's listening to this, my goal is listening to this episode to hopefully help you change your way of thinking and let you know what I'm talking about isn't new. It isn't impossible. It is more than possible for you, because somebody that may have went through harder things, right? And not trying to mitigate your struggle, because you may have your own current struggle with family, with your personal life. Maybe you work in another job. Maybe business isn't how it should. Maybe there's so many things that I don't know about and the people around you don't know about, and you just fighting those battles alone. But I want to give you some encouragement, and I want to base it on facts. So his name was, again, Mr. Alonzo Herndon, right? And I'm going to over summarize his story, and you all can check out more about this story on your own time. After this podcast episode is complete, I want you to at least start thinking about yourself as a millionaire and be on your journey to becoming a $1 million barber. That is the value proposition that I want to propose to you, and encourage you to listen to this episode in its entirety and replay it over and over and over again for motivation and educational purposes. So Mr. Alonzo was born in a place called Social Circle, Georgia in 1858. He was the son of an enslaved mother and the enslaver, a white man. After the Civil War and Emancipation, Herndon's family struggled with poverty. He worked on his family's farm, doing hard labor from a young age. Seeking better opportunities, he left home with only a few dollars and his determination to build a better life. He entered into barbering. He landed in a place called Jonesboro, Georgia. He honed his skills and eventually moved to Atlanta in 1883. In Atlanta, Herndon opened his first barbershop. It went by the name of the Crystal Palace. Became renowned for its luxury, catering primarily to wealthy white men. Let's pause for the cause. Here's a teachable moment. Being somebody that has the odds against him, he didn't try to open up a rinky-dink, cheap, low-income hood barbershop where he gives out $5, $1, 50-cent cuts. He created a barbershop and he focused on a high-end clientele and focused on luxury, catering to wealthy, not low class, not middle class, wealthy white men at the time. You can copy this business model yourself and create a luxury environment as a barber. Not my opinion. He did this in the 1800s. Let's keep it going though. The shop featured crystal chandeliers. How many barbershops you know? If you're in the barbershop right now, look up. His barbershop had crystal chandeliers in the 1800s and 1900s. What y'all got? Do y'all even have LED lights? What y'all got? Y'all got a ceiling fan? Do y'all even have good lighting in there, period? Is the lights yellow? They should be white. If you were serious, it'll be a crystal chandelier. What else did he have in his barbershop? He had gold fixtures and he had excellent, right? Historians write he had excellent service, establishing his reputation. I go to a lot of black barbers and it's a great place to get a good laugh, watch a ball game, get a bag of chips, get a soda. But is it a luxury environment? What does it look like? Right? Keep in mind, we're talking about a gentleman that has passed away before many of us was even born. And this is how he built a $1 million, multi-million-dollar business. He had $1 million, over $1 million at his time of death. Fast forward, if the equivalent of that money today is over $18 million. I'm intentionally pausing. This person had the equivalent of $18 million as an ex-slave born to a black woman and the slave master. And he was able to build an $18 million business empire, right? We're going to talk about how he did it more, but what I want you to do, this is not me insulting your barbershop. Understand, I'm just a man on the internet. I have no idea what 99% of you all's barbershops look like, but I just been to a lot of black barbershops. So what I want you all to understand is that one, you deserve to have better. This is not me criticizing or critiquing you, saying that you are an inferior person, you're a bad person. This is me as a cousin saying, hey, you deserve better. You have a skill set that is more than capable of allowing you to live a lifestyle of your dreams. However, your belief system, your mindset, you might be settling for less. How many years ago, and it's going to vary depending on when you listen to this episode, how many years ago is it between your life, adult life as a barber, and Alonzo's life? How far away are you from 1883? 1883 was how many years ago from the moment that you're hearing this? Let's keep it going. He expanded into business ownership. Over time, Alonzo expanded his barbering empire, opening 3 barbershops and hiring other talented black barbers to work for him. Despite serving a segregated clientele, his businesses were immensely profitable. By the turn of the century, he had saved enough capital. 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 How much money are you saving? How much money are you making? Granted, making money is great, but it's not about how much money you're making. How much money are you keeping? By the turn of the century, he had saved enough capital. He saved enough capital to invest in other ventures. Sometimes you got to do without. Not because you don't have it, but because you're going somewhere bigger than where you at. And if you don't do without now, you're going to have to forever do without in the future. He transitioned into real estate, y'all. Now, FYI, we all understand real estate has created the most millionaires. So he wisely reinvested his earnings into real estate, purchasing the properties in Atlanta and surrounding areas. His real estate portfolio grew to include rental properties, farmland, commercial buildings, further solidifying his wealth. Further solidifying his wealth. Further solidifying his wealth means he was already solidifying his wealth as a barber, and this further solidified his wealth. My question to you, are you getting wealthy as a barber? If not, why not? There's no law saying you can't leave the city that you're in. There's no law saying that you can't offer premium services, mobile services. There's no law saying you can't create your own product line. Do you have your own beard oil? Do you have your own do-rags, your own hair grease or oil, your own bump fighter cream, your own hair dye, right? Why you ain't went to Alibaba.com, AliExpress.com, private label, meaning putting your logo and your name on a product, and then open up a Shopify store, open up a Wix store, start making social media content on Instagram, YouTube, and every other major social media platform, not trying to sell somebody anything, but trying to teach people how you can help them with their appearance. And then showing your product as the solution to help them with their appearance. Nobody wants to be sold to. Everybody wants to buy. Remember that. So he got into real estate, y'all. He got into real estate. He also got into business acquisitions. Before we go even further, let me tell you this. Wealth is made through concentration. He was getting wealthy as a barber. Wealth is maintained through diversification. He further solidified his wealth through his diversifications. So if you're struggling now as a barber, diversification is not the cure. You need to hone your skills like he did in the 1800s. You need to create a premium experience that differentiates yourself from the average barber that just got the hours, that just got the license, that just know how to cut good, right? I tell you this right now. I told you guys in the beginning, I'm not a barber, but I learned how to cut my own hair in high school. My older brother used to cut his own hair because I come from a low-income situation. So he taught himself over the summer, and he messed up himself a lot of times. But over the summer, since we didn't have school, he could wear hats and do-rags and hide it. And then over time, you know, you do something enough times, you get good at it. This was before YouTube, so there was no tutorials. Now you got the benefit, and I did as well, had the benefit of tutorials. So I, once upon a time, was cutting my hair and I cut a couple of friends' hair. Nothing nowhere near the scale that you guys are doing it if you're a barber listening to this. But all of that to say is that it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know how to cut a head. Not trying to reduce what it is that you do. As a 7-figure entrepreneur, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to run your mouth on the internet, is what you can say to me, and you're 100% right. But it is a difference between the person that run their mouth on the internet for free and the person that run their mouth on the internet and get a bag to start buying houses and businesses and invest in other businesses, right? So it is levels to it. So don't get hung up in just the technical side of it. You also have to expand into being a cold business owner. And some of you all are already doing this, all right? So before we get ahead of ourselves, how great are you as a barber? Hone your skills, serve a luxury clientele, give a luxury experience. We have the advantage of the internet, and we'll talk more about what I would do in my example at the end. But right now, it don't matter what I would do. I'm going to tell you what a guy did before most of us was born to make $1 million in the same craft you're doing today. So he honed his skill. He served a luxury clientele, had luxury vibes. He hired other professionals to work for him, right? He wasn't stingy. He wasn't overcharging them booth rent, right? He showed love. He gave them an opportunity to serve a higher end clientele that they probably wouldn't have had access to on their own. That's bigger tips. That's more pay per cut. You could cut less heads and make the same money. You could cut the same heads and make more money, right? So as you grow, here's what some barbers will say, man, I can't keep nobody. Understand this. If you was the barber that was known for cutting the heads of the celebrities, or you yourself was a celebrity barber, just in that niche, you ain't got to be a worldwide celebrity. But if you were the one that was popping on social media, you were the one that was in the network with influential and high income earners, do you not think there are barbers that understand that it is a bigger opportunity to be affiliated with you than it is to go do their own thing? I can produce content and solely place it on my website and say, hey, I'm going to just pay advertisers and run Google and Facebook ads and everything else straight to my website. And that'll be the only way you'll be able to listen to my podcast or watch any of my shows that I produce, either in front of the camera or behind the scenes. However, I understand the power of leverage. You never gonna make a whole lot of money till you understand the money formula. Value times leverage times consistency. Your skill set is valuable if you hone it. You can leverage your luxury environment and only targeting those people that are willing to pay you whatever a premium cut is. And then, of course, nothing works until you consistently work it. Hone your skill, serve a luxury clientele with a luxury vibe, because check this out, other barbers are doing it. Maybe you don't do it the exact same way that they did it, but other barbers are doing it. Figure it out. You can make excuses or you can make results. You just can't do both. So after he invested in real estate, we talked about that. He also started investing in businesses. Me personally, where I'm at in life right now, I think this is the best entrepreneurial endeavor anybody can do, which is get into business acquisitions. I recently purchased my first business. It's an AI company. If you're cool with investing in online businesses right now, not saying that it'll always be that way in the future, but in 2025, you can get online businesses that are profitable at a discounted price in comparison to if you want a storefront physical location. I don't think it'll always be that way. Success loves speed, so it depends on how fast you move. But in 1905, how old were you in 1905? Think about that. How old were you in 1905? I wasn't born till 85 years later. So I dare say nobody was born at all that's listening to this in 1905. So you was negative whatever at 1905. Your parents might not have been born. Grandparents possibly. But in 1905, Herndon And if I mispronounce his name, I got a South Carolina education. Blame it on my head, not my heart, right? I'm a miss say a bunch of stuff, right? Country boy, all right? In 1905, Herndon purchased a small failing insurance company for $140. I got to look this up. Y'all bear with me here. I got my notes here. I should have put it in my notes, but like I said, I'm a country boy. So, hey, and I'm passionate about this because I really want you to win. So I'm going to look this up. $140 in 1905 would be worth how much today? $140 in 1905 in January of 2025 is the equivalent of $5,019.21. $5,019.21. The AI business that I recently purchased a couple of months back, I got it for $200. I bought it from a company out of India. Of course, their money is different from our money, so I don't know how much of their money it was, but it was $200 US. I'm expecting to invest between 800 and maybe 3,000 additional dollars into it, but just to purchase the company alone, I spent $200 in 2025. Now, he spent $140. There's 2 points that I'm making here. I want you to be clear on both. One, somebody might say $140 back in 1905 is cool. Those deals don't exist today. So that's why I'm telling you I spent $200 at the end of 2024 going into 2025 to buy an artificial intelligence company, an AI company at a time that AI is new and hot. I was able to buy, it's a small business though, right? It's not like huge with 1,000 employees, very small AI company that I purchased. So the first point that I'm making here, don't say what you can't do. You can say what you won't do. You can say what you're not willing to figure out how to do, but don't say what you can't do, right? Because you can do anything. He was able to find a business in 1905. I was able to find a business in 2024. He paid $140. I paid $200. Now, somebody else might say, well, okay, what is the equivalent of how much money he had back then? Well, that was the present day value of that would be like $5,019.21 today. So somebody might say, well, I don't have $5,019.21. If you a barber, you can go make $5,019.21 in a month or less. I'm not saying that you are, I'm saying that you can. So even if you're not making that much, you can, right? But even if you can't, I'm finding opportunities that even though it's been so many years later, I'm still able to find. Let's go deeper though. So he purchased a small felon insurance company in 1905 for $140. He renamed it the Atlanta Life Insurance Company. Check this out. I'm pausing for the calls because I've been an entrepreneur 10 years. You guys know that already. One business that I used to work for was called Berkshire Hathaway. It was ran by a gentleman by the name of Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. Now, they had other people that were a part of it, but the most famous people were Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, right? When I got the job, there was a lot of talk and training about Warren Buffett. And they were saying that he got rich off of the float. What is the float? So Geico Insurance is one of the businesses that he owns amongst a whole lot of others. And they said, well, Warren Buffett loves insurance. Reason why he loves insurance is because people pay for insurance consistently, and then you don't have to pay out until years later. Sometimes you never have to pay out. Think about when is the last time you did a insurance claim for your house, for your car, for your whatever you got insurance on, right? So the relevance to this is an African-American gentleman in 1905 had the wherewithal to understand the float. Because why would you buy a failing business? Same reason why he bought a failing business for $140 is why I bought a failing business in 2024. I am by no means comparing myself to the great Mr. Alonzo. But what I want you to learn from this is that you can replicate in your own way, maybe not step by step, you can replicate in your own way the success of other people. Stop trying to recreate the wheel. He renamed it the Atlanta Life Insurance Company, which targeted underserved Black customers who had limited access to mainstream financial services. Under his leadership, the company grew rapidly, becoming one of the largest Black-owned businesses in America. Atlanta Life Insurance offered African Americans a way to protect their families financially, fostering trust and loyalty within the community. So this was a guy that was a barber. They got really good at barbering by having a luxury barbershop, leveraged that talent, invested it in real estate, which has made the most millionaires. But he didn't stop there. He started getting into acquisition, which is buying businesses. By the time of his death in 1927, pause for the cause, how old were you in 1927? How old were you in 1927? So he purchased the business in 1905. 22 years later, he passed away. How old were you in 1927? I dare say you still wasn't born yet. But in 1927, a gentleman with a net worth over $1 million during his time, it would have been the equivalent of being worth over $18 million today, passed away. He was an African-American gentleman, and he started off as a barber. He goes by the name of Mr. Alonzo Herndons. And I probably pronounced that name different ways throughout this entire episode. But his legacy is preserved through institutions like the Herndon Home Museum in Atlanta, which celebrates his contributions to business, community, and African-American advancement. I'm going to start visiting this museum in Atlanta at least once a year, as long as it exists. Not that I know that it won't exist in the future. I'm just saying I have no control over that. His company, Atlanta Life Insurance Company, continues to operate as one of the oldest and most successful Black-owned financial institutions in the U.S. Herndon's story is a testament to overcoming systematic barriers, leveraging opportunity, and building lasting wealth despite extraordinary challenges. So play this in your barbershop. Attention barbers, you on deck. Attention barbers, you on deck. Attention barbers, you on deck. All right, you on deck. My fictitious example as promised, right? Reason why I'm sharing this with you is as somebody that has been a successful entrepreneur for years, I've also failed and can give you some gain, if you will, right, that I believe can benefit you. If I was to get into barbering today, I would be at a disadvantage in comparison to you because you already have a skill set that I would have to master. You already have a clientele. You might already have a social media community that you're building. So you have a lot of things I don't have. But I'll tell you this, if you're somebody that is not mentally saying I'm accepting less, or let me rephrase it. If you're not somebody that's not mentally saying I'm not going to accept any less than being $1 million barber, here's how I would pass you up. Straight up. And I mean this with all due respect. And this ain't arrogance, this confidence, this real. I've done it already in other businesses. So let me talk that talk. First, of course, like everybody else, I got to go to barber school, right? I got to go through whatever the process is to become a licensed barber. So school, tests, whatever that framework is, not even going to pretend that I got it memorized from start to finish. But I, like everybody else, have to go through the process, right? Once I go through the process and I'm a legitimate barber, of course, I need to seek out a barbershop. I would look for what barbershop is already a luxury barbershop in my area. It may be far away from home, maybe right down the road, but I'm going to find that barbershop and that's going to determine where I'm going to go. I don't care if I have kids. I don't care if I have a wife. I don't care if I have whatever. And I'm not saying I don't care like they don't matter. I'm saying I don't care because I know ultimately me becoming the best I can be is going to benefit them greater than me settling for them to be in their comfort zone, settling so they can be complacent, settling so they can have less than what I know I can provide for my family. So that's what I would do. That alone will probably win up me over a lot of barbers that's not going to leave home, that don't want to have the difficult conversations with their spouse, with their whoever, and just don't want to move out their comfort zone. So that alone is going to put me in the proximity to outpace you anyway, because you're not living your small little country town. So you already lost, right? You up now, but it's inevitable, right? This win is in the bag, chess move, right? You about to be in checkmate. You don't even know. Nothing you can do to stop it. Okay, let's move on a little bit deeper, right? Now I'm a barber. I'm going to be a sponge, right? I picked the best barbershop, not so I could come be arrogant and tell these barbers I'm going to take over and whatever, right? I'm here to learn how the best operate. So I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn how to be the best. I'm going to shut up. If I got to sweep the floor, I'm sweeping the floor. Right? If I got to take out the trash, if I got to bring breakfast, whatever, right? Whatever rites of passage it takes for me to get the access to learn how to be the best of the best, that's what I'm doing, right? Same thing I did in the industry that I'm in now, right? Same thing I did in the industry that I'm in now, right? And that buzzard already let you guys know the game over. Game over, because I'm already doing something that most barbers aren't willing to do. Right now, okay, now let's assume, don't really know what the average learning curve is for a barber, but let's assume after a while of me being in that environment, I developed some skills. Why? I'm around the best people that do it, and I'm humble enough to take constructive criticism, learn how to be better, hone my craft, just like Mr. Alonzo did way back before I was born, right? Now, you know what? I'm going to be active on social media. What I'm going to do that is going to be different from a lot of barbers, not all barbers, but a lot of barbers, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to be the barber that has products. I'm not going to be limited by the number of cuts I can do in a day, right? So I'm going to research, right? But in this fictitious example, without doing any research, I'm going to research the most popular products. So I might have a product that is tested and approved and private labeled underneath my brand. I'm from the Carolinas, so we're going to make up a brand off the top, right? So let's say I call it Carolina's Finest Barbershop, right? Even if I'm in another state, let's say I find the best barbers are in another state, whatever, right? I'll still come out with my brand. It'll still be called Carolina's Finest because that's where I'm from. So, okay, I'm going to come out with Carolina's Finest. You could chat GPT a name, or maybe creatively you'll come up with a better name. But for the sake of this illustration, I'm going to come out with products. Let's say I come out with one product. It's good for men that suffer from shaving bumps. Maybe I have another one. It's a hair dye for men that, like myself, just being real, dye their hair because they don't want to, see gray strands, right? Let's say that I also do research and see that there's other things that are good for like dandruff, dry flaky scalps. Maybe I come out with my own brushes, do-rags, right? Again, Alibaba, AliExpress, everything would be private label. Everything would be tested before I sold it to anybody. I wouldn't put my name on anything that I wouldn't use for myself, my family members, my close friends, right? But I would come out with those products because let's say in a day, I could cut 8 heads or more, but let's just say just fictitiously I could cut 8 heads, right? I take my time and it take me an hour a head and I'm only willing to work 8 hours, right? Well, I can sell 100 bottles of product instantaneously, right? Instantaneously. What's up, family? Brief interruption, but I promise to get you right back into today's action. It recently came to my awareness that I am no longer allowed to teach you everything I know about making money, and that's legally. I have to do that. I always tell you guys, there's so many legit ways to make money. We're not going to do anything illegal, illegitimate, or immoral. So the reason why it's an issue in a nutshell is this. You could be a minor watching this, or you could be an elderly person that has a mental deficiency, and if you learn something here but you misapply it, then that could cause a financial hardship for you, your loved ones, blah, 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 right? I don't make the rules, but I am going to stay compliant and follow them. So here's the solution. Join my absolute free newsletter. We do private meetups every single Thursday. Now, there is going to be a consensus statement that pretty much says, hey, if you come to this private meetup every single Thursday, it's absolutely free to come. You agree that you're not a minor and you're not an elderly that has a mental deficiency. From now on, I will be giving you guys my best advice every single Thursday. And instead of me talking at you, it's going to be an environment where we can talk to each other, right? If that sounds valuable to you, click the link, join the Providence Pro newsletter. I'll see you guys on the inside. Back to today's action. I don't have to wait an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to make that money. Those orders can be coming into my website all day long. So what I know about making money is you got to separate your time from money, or else you're never going to make no real money. No disrespect, but we qualify real money as $500,000 a year or more. So if our goal is to start making some real money, $500,000 or more a year, we probably going to start separating our time from money, because if I had to try to do the math and figure out how many haircuts I had to do to make real money, that would probably just be depressing off gate. So I got my product line, Carolina's Finest. You call yours whatever. I'm still doing my cuts. I understand that relationships are more important than money. So now that I got my products, I got my social media, and I got me doing the cuts myself, I'm going to start leveraging relationships. What do you mean by leveraging relationships? I'm going to find out who's the hottest promoter in the area. Is there a House of Blues in the area? Is there any major event space in the area? When comedians come to town, when performers, whether it's rappers, singers, whoever, come into town, where are those events at? Is it a club? Is it a comedy house? Is it a House of Blues? Is it a whatever, right? We go to these areas. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to form a relationship with a promoter where I pay them to refer me to those men that come in and need a cut, right? So, hey, somebody needs a shape up or a haircut or anything like that before they perform. Listen, refer them to me. I will pay you X amount of money, whatever we negotiate. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to associate my brand with a certain caliber of clientele. Right? Now, we all should be marketing. So whatever my marketing budget is, let's say conservatively at least $500 a month, right? So, hey, I'm investing that money in relationships. So I'm going to invest that money in relationships and try to get with promoters or anybody that can get me access to hiring clientele of people, right? Keep in mind, we're trying to do a luxury barbershop. So I need to have a clientele of people. I want to be with the rappers that count a lot of money and jewelry and whatever. I want to be with the star up and coming comedians that everybody follow on Instagram, and now they coming to do a comedy show, right? I want to be in these environments, right? So that being the case, I'm going to network with that promoter or whoever books that person there and try to get access there. When I show up, hey, I'm ready. I'm investing in a high quality phone as a backup. I'm really bringing a videographer. I'm really bringing somebody that can take pictures of me as I line them up, as I cut their hair, and can really video me to post on my social media, a reel on Instagram where I put popular music behind it, or a voiceover video for my YouTube channel for the long form video, right? So I'm going to do that to continue to build my brand, right? Now, before that, I'm going to already be posting on my social media, right? Whether I'm doing haircut transformations, I'm showing somebody came in looking like buckwheat, left out looking like Usher, right? Or whatever transformation I could give them. I'm showing before and after transformations. right? If I don't have a huge clientele, I'm doing reactions side by side of other people's barber transformations and giving commentary on that. But I'm consistently posting valuable content, probably on Instagram, but YouTube pays better. So I would also repost it on YouTube because down the line, that's going to be a better ad check than Instagram, just to be honest with you. But of course, we don't only depend on advertisers. We gonna make money off our own products as well. And that's gonna also help us have a marketing machine, which is our social media that we're building, to further help sell our products outside of the clientele that comes, right? Every time a celebrity comes into town, JT is coming in the city, he gonna interview such and such and such and such. Hey, I'm gonna come give JT a free cut and line up as well as his clientele, and I'm gonna come with a gift bag. You can go get a gift bag with some paper in it from Dollar Tree. You can go online and get a custom bag too if you want to. But if we gonna be conservative, right? Now keep in mind, you're trying to do a luxury brand. So gimp out where you can, but understand, at least have it your brand colors. At least get a shiny bag, right? At least get a sticker made that's big, or a lot of stickers made that's big that you could slap your sticker on the front of the Dollar Tree bag to make it look more of like a custom bag or something. But if you want to, like, hey, I got to save money where I can so I can get the most return on investment with whatever I'm spending, boom. And inside that gift bag, I'm gifting all of the products for free. My videographer is going to record me presenting them with the gift bag. Maybe they check it out, maybe they don't. My videographer is going to get a photo with me and them together. I'm going to do the haircut. They're going to get all of that. If budgets are tight, this cameraman becomes a smartphone quality camera and a tripod and or monopod, because monopods take up less space, especially if you're in environments where you got to move quickly. So probably a monopod with a cell phone adapter at the top, giving you guys real game because I want you to win now, right? So that's what that is. At a bare minimum, that's my travel kit. I ain't going nowhere without my light. Could be a ring light, could be a softbox light. Again, it just depends on how much room you got. Like me, I travel everywhere with a wagon. You can get one of them wagons from like Dick's Sporting Goods, from Walmart, pretty much every store. Look, go in the camping section, or maybe it's in another part, depending on what store you shop at. But I see them a lot in the camping section. They'll be like wagons, and that can be where you just, like, that wagon can fit in the trunk of your car, your back seat, wherever. And you should always have a set of clippers, your whole setup, right? Just leave it in the trunk of the car, man. Leave it in the trunk of the car. And I recommend you having a travel setup and a shop setup, right? Not two phones, unless you just want to have two phones, but like monopod here, monopod in the shop. Light for here, light for there. You can get lights in the pack, right? I like the Dasney lights, or the newer lights. Those are the brands, either Dasney or newer. It's the brands I like, but to each their own. All right, so travel with that kit. In marketing, it's always a numbers game. So the first person you ask might say no, right? The first person you ask might say no. Keep asking. Maybe you don't get the number one person off gate. So you just continue to network till you eventually get them. So boom, I'm still a barber. I got my own products, private label. So it's my logo, my brand name, sourced from Alibaba or AliExpress. I have my website, which is either my name or my brand name, or both. You can have two different sites if you wanted to, but got that. I am reinvesting my money into relationships to expand my brand, so that way I can get what's known as credibility via osmosis. Check it out. If JT, I love you, I'm your favorite country cousin. If I say, hey, Barber so-and-so can sing, it don't mean nothing. If Beyonce said Barber so-and-so is the greatest singer they ever heard, you about to get paid to sing. Even if you can't really sing like that. Why? Credibility via osmosis. Somebody that is respected and credible in that field has said, hey, I give credibility to this person by the statement that I made. Not all statements are verbal. You can make a nonverbal statement with how you dress, the car that you drive, the house you live in, the kind of woman you associate with, right? Your wife, your girlfriend, whatever it is, right? You can make a statement by the social media posts that you make. All your social media posts should look cinematic. All your social media posts should look high quality. Like, man, this ain't even an Instagram post. This a preview of a movie. This a trailer for a movie. YouTube University for absolutely free. You can go on YouTube and learn how to do it. But who's willing to do it? That's why I'm telling you, here's my framework that I know will work if you're willing to work it. All right. So fast forward. Let's move on. Okay. Beyond that, what I would do is, now that I got the association over time, right? I'm not saying I'm going to pass you in 6 months, a year, 2 years, but over time, I am now known as a high quality barber. We do luxury haircuts. We not the cheapest. We the best. All right. It's going to be a luxury environment. We got our own products. We popping on social media, Instagram and YouTube at a bare minimum. Instagram gets you a lot of brand deals. YouTube gets you a lot of money. So we do both, right? You might even do a podcast like this. If so, hey, shout out your boy, Cousin JT, the Income Autopilot podcast that gave you the play. Now I would, at that point, start looking at diversification. Now, diversification could be, you can franchise out different barbershops. So now you leave the barbershop that you at, you got your own shop, you build it up. Welcome to Carolina's Finest, right? Once you build up Carolina's Finest, I will print out. So imagine, may he rest in peace, you had done this for Bernie Mac. Imagine, if you will, may he rest in peace, you did this for Trouble. You did this for Young Dolph. You did this for any of the celebrities that are no longer with us. Not wishing that any celebrity pass away, but I'm just saying, what I would do is, these top celebrities, I would, of course, we taking pictures on our camera and on our cell phone, but then we could print them out. You can have them printed out at the house. You could print them out at CVS if you want a little bit higher quality picture, and then you could frame them yourself. You can go to Walmart to get a little cheap frame. Or if you really care about your brand, which you should, you can go to Hobby Lobby and get a little bit nicer frame. Or go to Amazon and order a nicer frame if Hobby Lobby not in your area, right? So I would then print out these pictures. I would hang them on the wall of the barbershop. And I would do that so that way when you come in, it's a vibe. We're going to have the chandelier. We're going to have the luxury feel. We're going to have the music playing. We're going to have pictures of the wall of me cutting hair of high-end people, right? So that being said, we already set the vibe. If I'm going to the same restaurant as Donald Trump, hate him or love him as a politician and as a person, but if I go to the same restaurant as Donald Trump, do I expect there to be a dollar menu? No. If I go to the same golf course as Donald Trump, again, I'm just using that name again because I feel like everybody knows who that is, right? If I go to the same golf course as Donald Trump, do I expect that round of golf to be cheap? No. Why? Because of the brand association. So if I come into your barbershop and I see, man, they got a chandelier in the barbershop, everybody is dressed up. Ain't nobody here in sneakers and gym shorts and a t-shirt. Everybody look like they really could go to church. They could really go to do like a brunch. Like they really business casual, right? They got hard bottom shoes. They got slacks. They got a collar shirt. All the barbers are well groomed. Barbers are notoriously known for not having haircuts. But these barbers actually, they beard is trimmed up. Right? If they got hair, their hair look good. Not saying it got to be a low cut, but it look neat. Whatever it is, it look neat. Right? So, oh yeah, man. It's a vibe. Luxury people on the wall, good music playing. It looks classy. The bathrooms are clean, right? The snacks, right? The snacks even snacking. They ain't got little cheap, off-brand, Nothing wrong with Utz, but ain't no Utz chips in here. Man, they got premium snacks. They water is in a glass bottle. It ain't a plastic bottle of Deer Park. They got Voss in the glass bottle. They got the nice high-end feel. All of this paints the picture that allows a premium clientele of people to be there. Does that make sense? All right. So you can franchise out that model. And of course, the value proposition is you're going to continue to build the brand. So yes, there is going to be occasional churn where you lose customers. You're going to also lose barbers from time to time. But if you continuously focus on building the brand and you start licensing out the business model as well as franchising out the brand name itself and the trust associated with it, you can now make money that way. Now, that may not be your thing. So if you don't want to franchise out because you don't want to learn that business model with licensing and all of that other stuff, then that's cool too. You can invest in real estate. I am biased. I would also say acquisitions. I would say different than Mr. Alonzo. Not saying that he did anything wrong because he obviously didn't. I would acquire businesses that, at least initially, I can improve upon because they support what I'm already doing. So for example, right, the AI business that I purchased was a AI mentor business. Now, the type of mentorship that it offered was a spiritual mentorship. It was pretty much like having a spiritual advisor in your pocket 24/7 or on the internet 24/7. So any spiritual question you had, you don't got to go book an appointment with the pastor, the minister, the whatever, right? You don't even got to search the scriptures yourself. This mentor, you could just type in the question or you can hit the microphone button and speak your question and it will just give you a spiritual answer backed by, supporting data, elements, the Bible, history, whatever, right? And tell you where you can go verify the information. So it was like having an advisor. Well, one thing that I am more than aware of, and we're going to tie this to barbering, but just follow me because you got to paint the picture. You got to catch all the analogies so that way you can execute it properly. In the financial literacy space, in the business building space, in the marketing space, in the content creator space, we have the most expensive mentorship programs. So somebody might mentor you in basketball, in weightlifting and nutrition, in whatever, in marriage, in other areas of your life. And they might do it inexpensively. They might do it free or cheap. I have documentation just around my desk right now. You guys won't be able to see it because of the size of the font. Where, man, mentorship, it's like $15,000 is cheap mentorship. Talking about you getting quality mentorship, right? Like now you can get a book or like a course or something like that for less usually. But if you want somebody to really mentor you that's at a higher level than you, $15,000 is cheap. There's people that's paying, myself included, $30,000, $50,000. Good friend of mine that's like a brother to me, over $100,000. I got another friend of mine, he's about to spend $100,000 to spend one day with a man that's worth $40 million. And he's gonna break down, hey, if I was in your business, here's what I would do to make my business better, right? So here's how to go from wherever you are that's less than 40 million to 40 million. I'm going to show you how to do all of that in a single day. We're going to record our entire interaction together so that way you have a hard copy of this to have in the whole forever. And yeah, it's $100,000 to spend one day with him, but he's worth $40 million. In other industries, at least right now, not most industries, I don't even want to say all of them are cheaper, but most industries for sure are cheaper to get somebody that is already at the level you're trying to go to get there, right? Why is that important? Me investing in an AI company, I purchased the company and we're rebranding it because instead of it answering all of your biblical questions, what if you wanted to get into business and you didn't have $15,000. Yes, you could buy a book on Audible or wherever and read the book, listen to the audiobook or whatever, depending on if you want an ebook, audiobook, or physical book. Yes, you could buy a course and go through the course as well. It may or may not have support calls to give you ongoing coaching. But I'm like, what if there was a cost-effective way you can get the knowledge of a multimillionaire without getting their time or other resources like their time, access to their team, and etc. That's what we are doing. So I acquired the infrastructure by buying the business, and that's what jerrygenie.com is, right? Jerrygenie.com is an artificial intelligence company that I bought. I bought the entire business to include the AI that they built, and we are now reconstructing everything for that. Tying it back to barbering though, right? That analogy fits here because I am in the media industry. I understand that a issue in media is that the most successful people, right, charge the most. I went to Cancun, Mexico for a business meetup to get mentored by a gentleman worth $100 million, but it cost $30,000 to go. Now, by the grace of God, I was able to go. How many people got $30,000? That don't include your ticket to Mexico. That doesn't include your room in Mexico, right? That don't include your food while you there. That don't include nothing. That just allows you to come, be in the room. And that was a room, not the only room. They have another level that's $50,000. And that allows you to get in a room where he talks about how he's going to the next level. So one room talks about how to get you to, a higher level than where you're at. The next room tells you, hey, this is where we're at. This is where we're going. And this is how we're going to get there. In barbering, what I would be looking for is like any business that I can, one, see already is a no-brainer. So maybe if it's a cosmetic brand that's already doing numbers, could I add hair care products to it? Let's say it's already skincare or something like that, but it's not hair care. Could I keep that brand? Let's say that Carolina's Finest builds up over the few years. And if you are Carolina's Finest, I'm not trying to steal your brand name. If you were this before then, I just made it up off the top because that sounds pretty generic, right? But let's say Carolina's Finest acquires She's So Fine. Let's say She's So Fine is the name of a cosmetic brand that was already doing a couple $1,000s a month profit, right? So can I put Carolina's Finest hair care products in with She's So Fine cosmetic brand, and now we're more profitable because now we've extended our product line. Maybe She's So Fine was built offline, and you have a better understanding of social media than She's So Fine's founders do. So you're going to bring She's So Fine online, and now you're going to grow their Instagram, their YouTube, their podcast. Maybe She's So Fine wasn't spending any money in paid ads. So maybe you understand paid ads better. So you're going to pay influencers that are on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube to promote the product. You're going to do a ad campaign on Facebook and Google. You're also going to do retargeting ads. All of this is your expertise that you learned in growing Carolina's Finest, which is why we said before you diversify and you start buying real estate and franchising and acquiring other businesses, you hone in and master that skill, because now when you do go buy this other business, you already know what She's So Fine isn't doing. So She's So Fine doing $2,000 a month in this example. We're going to take it to the next level because I'm going to bring all of the Carolina Finest sauce and merge it with She's So Fine. Now, if She's So Fine already got an email list of a few thousand people, already has a website, already has an Instagram account, am I going to cannibalize that business and try to turn everything into Carolina's Finest? Absolutely not. I'm doing that with my AI business because my AI business, I bought it strictly for the infrastructure, the clientele of people that they had was low, one, right? And two, it's not even the clientele of people that I want for that particular product. I bought it solely based off the infrastructure. I got it super cheap, couple $100. I don't mind doing that, right? If the business was doing $2,000 a month profit, it would cost more than $200 for sure. Typically, businesses sell at 2.5x to 6x of their profits annually. If they have no profits or very low profits, then you can get them way cheaper than that, right? And I think when I bought whatever it was before I made it what it is, it might have had one or two clients max, right? Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy at all. But I digress because I want you guys to get all of this sauce. If She's So Fine already got a clientele, but the owner is burnt out, the owner is just sick and tired of it, they want to move on, they want to cash out and go into real estate or go into another venture, right? As long as the brand isn't bad, we'll keep that exact same brand. I don't care if you know I own She's So Fine or Carolina's Finest unless it's a personal brand too, right? But I 100% believe that acquisition is a fast way to grow, right? Now, of course, again, giving credit where credit is due, I'm worth 3 million as of this recording. Alonzo died being worth 18 million in today's money. So if you can go buy an insurance company and scale it up, amen, right? He knew what he was doing. Obviously was more advanced than I am, even, 100 years later, right? Still had sauce. So, but for me, that's what I would look at doing. Again, the reason why I spent this last hour saying, hey, play this in the barbershop and giving you the backstory is if you're a barber, you're a pillar in your community. The barbershop not just a place to go get hair chopped off, right? Because like I said, especially with technology today, man, anybody can go to the beauty supply store, get a pair of T outliners or whatever the brand or flavor of the year is, watch some tutorials, they'll mess up, and then eventually they'll get good. Same way you gonna learn, right? Or you probably learn, right? Nobody was born being the greatest barber like you may be now. So anybody that really wants to can learn that skill. Knowing how to barber makes you a commodity. Learning what I taught you in this episode makes you a brand and puts you on track to be $1 million barber. So I want you to be a $1 million barber, not like the fictitious example JT gave you. I gave you a framework that works in pretty much any business, which is master your current thing and then invest in real estate and business acquisition. That works whether we're cutting hair, we're doing marketing and media, you got an ice cream parlor, you got an in-ground swimming pool business, you got whatever it is, right? That works universally. I've done it, continue to do it, and a lot of other highly successful people have done it as well, right? So not because JT says you should do it and I'm some authority in the space. I just sincerely want you to win. I don't want you to be in a job where you standing up all day so now your feet hurt, now your back hurt, and you making good money, but before you know it, another barber leaves, opens up a shop in their backyard. Now they in competition with you. But you've been in business 20 years, 10 years, right? Time go by fast. What separates you from the new barber? Because even a new barber, if they understand business to a greater degree, and not just understand it, because you can know a lot and be an information hoarder. If they understand business at a high level and then they execute on what they learn, then they're a threat. You've been in business how long? I can, and I looked this up literally last night, right? If you've been a barber for longer than 30 days and you don't have a product, and when I say being a barber, even if you don't even have all of your hours yet to go, be an official barber, if you just been in the process of barbering, getting your hours for 30 days or longer, you should already have a product. You should have a product. And it should be a consumable appearance product. So whether it's the bump fighter, cream or whatever you call it. You guys know what I meant, fellas do. If you get shaving bumps and hair bumps, stuff like that, right? So whether it was the bump fighter cream, whether it is, any product, beard oil, hair dye, man, look, the reason why I say 30 days or less is because you could go on, there's nothing stopping you but you from going on Alibaba, AliExpress today. After you go to jerrygenie.com and ask Jerry Genie what products are the best products to sell if you are a barber in America, right? Because it don't really matter where you are, right? And then once it tells you what the best products are, then from there you go to Alibaba, AliExpress.com, start sourcing those items, looking at the reviews, right? And then buying samples. Not saying the minimum order might be 100, 500. That might intimidate you. You gonna hit the chat feature or the message feature and say, hey, I would like to order a sample. And trust me, it's coming from China. So even though the individual price is like 45 cents, they probably gonna say, man, you gotta spend like $30 or $40 in shipping. We not about to just sell you something for 45 cents and send it across the world, right? Let's be real. So you're gonna spend a few dollars, but it's an investment in your future wealth. So I would go find 3 to 5 vendors for every product. And then I would start off with one product and I will order from 3 to 5, no more than 8, but minimum 3 to 5, but no more than 8 different people. And I would get samples. Like, just give me one order of your hair dye, each person. One order of your beard oil, your avocado oil, your whatever it is that you're going to use, right? Your essential oil. And I will order that. And then before I even order it, I would say, hey, do you private label? Private label, for anybody that doesn't know, I want to be able to put my name, my logo on your product and get it from you at wholesale price A, mark up the price, sell it to my consumers at price B, right? If they don't do that, then I don't even care about your sample because I don't want to promote your brand. I'm trying to build my brand. We not going to go too sexy and get into drop shipping and all of that other stuff in this episode. If I get reached out to by enough barbers, we may. So if you are a barber, you watching this visually, you see the number to contact me if you ever want to advertise your products. So if you do move forward and want to get your beard oil, your do-rag, your brush, your whatever, right, advertised on this podcast, if you're on a visual platform, see where that's available. But if you're not, the number is 833-221-9994. So you can text me the word barber, and that'll let me know that you saw this episode to 1-833-221-9994, right? I help skilled professionals like yourself, as well as coaches, mentors, and consultants, reach at least 1 million leads a month. If you want to advertise with my media company, currently we own 5 YouTube channels, 12 Instagram accounts, 2 newsletters, and around 12 websites, blogs, and etc. And we reach millions of people a month. So if you just want to advertise your product here, or if you want to talk more about getting mentorship on how to execute any of the things that you've learned, again, the number is 1-833-221-9994. Just let me know you're a barber interested in mentorship, and I'll be in touch with you. But whether you decide to work with me or not is irrelevant. At the end of the day, I just want you to win. So this has been the Income Autopilot Podcast, the show that teaches you how to stop working so hard and put your money to work for you. And I love each and every one of you barbers. I don't care if you're a male barber, female barber. I don't care. I want you to win. Whether you're a white barber, black barber, Indian, Asian, whatever. I don't care if you're in a low-income environment, a high-income environment. It's not about race. It's about winning. Barbers, period. I respect your craft, but it's too many great barbers that they get out of the industry because it never matriculates into anything that allows them to build future wealth, or they work that job for forever and they don't got nothing to show for it. That stops now. Share this with your barber. And hey, barbers know barbers. If you a barber that is listening to this, text every barber on your phone, Message everyone that's on your social media. Ask them, hey, did you hear episode 22 of the Income Autopilot podcast with JT? If they say no, send this over to them if you love them. Only if you love them. If you want them to fail, don't share this with them. Because if they hear this, they not going to fail. Because the only way they could fail after they hear it is if they don't execute on it. That's the only way they could fail. So, hey, if somebody sent this to you, it's because they loved you. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.